Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. I
Saw
know you're
that.
excited.
Steelers tonight. Yeah, got the Giants.
You're not excited,
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about our chances.
Yeah, you should. Defense
Yeah.
is good. Roethlisberger will be back for one game.
I saw one writer predict, they do all these, like they project out the whole season or whatever.
Yeah.
They had the Steelers opening up 8-0. No chance. That never happens.
I love when that
We
happens.
are, in great years and in terrible years, we are 2-2, 4 games in.
Every day, Dave comes in so disappointed after Steelers loss.
I'm starting off, I'm planning on 0 for 16. So if we win any more games than that, we'll be in a good spot.
That's good. All right, so we're going to cover last week's tournament that was in Napa Valley in the Smoke, and talk about the US Open that is this week. But first,
I had to show you this video that I got. Graham Dillette, two-handed chip practice swing, one-handed chip actual swing. Now he executes it well. He puts the ball to 3 inches or something like that.
Close enough where he can tap it in with his wedge.
And
with
just
both
bellies
hands.
it with his wedge, right? But what would make a player of that caliber, right? You are on, you're on tour, right? What would make a player of that caliber do something like that in competition?
Yeah, I would say number one is it took a lot of guts to hit that shot. That shows you how uncomfortable he probably was standing over pitch shots like that. So there have been some demons creeping around in Graham's head to make him attempt that shot in a tournament.
Right.
Hit a great one, executed it well. I would not recommend that motor program to hit a little pitch shot.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I saw that. So I ran into 2 kind of very interesting things this weekend. So that was one. Flip to the next page. And then I saw, who was it here? Amy Bolden on the Ladies European Tour. Fantastic story. Won her first event.
87 starts, won her first title.
87th start, won her first event. But the best is the trophy that she got for winning the, I think it was the Swiss Ladies Open.
Yeah, it's a cow with blue spots. What?
It's a wooden cow with a bell and blue spots and a very, very nice plaque on it.
Seems like they should all be made like that.
That is just an amazing trophy. A lot of the comments on social media were talking about how it's a shame that this is her first win and that's a trophy she gets. I think it's amazing. I mean, how many pieces of crystal does she probably have at home?
When do you ever see a trophy with a bell on it?
And you got a wooden cow with a bell on it.
Yep. Udders, a tail. I mean, this is
Swiss Ladies Open.
Lifelike.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Let's get into some actual golf. So I know we're going to get to the Safeway here, talk a little bit about Stuart Sink. But before we do, I wanted to recognize Miriam Lee won the ANA Inspiration Ladies Major. She won in a 3-way playoff. What I think was interesting, she had 3 chip-ins, and 1 was on the 72nd hole.
Wow.
So short game matters. We'll talk a little bit more about short game here later.
It's going to matter next week.
And then the Sanford Invitational, a couple of interesting things happened there. So one, Phil had his Champions Tour unbeaten streak ended.
At 1?
He was at 1.
Yeah.
He was going for 2 in a row.
Big strike.
Yeah, it got snapped by the most interesting man on tour, Miguel Ángel Jiménez.
Nice, yeah.
Who, by the way, is also my spirit animal.
And this is how many people who are shocked right now.
Take us to, let's talk a little bit about Stuart Sink and the Safeway.
Is it the cigar? Is it the whiskey?
God, it's just all of it. I mean, I'm envious of the hair because, I took mine down to the studs during the quarantine and everything. So
I saw him off the golf course at an event in New York. I used to play the Westchester Open in New York.
Yep.
And he was at this steakhouse that I was there at too, and a few players go visit there. It's a pretty famous place, Frankie and Johnny's in Rye, New York. And he's just sitting over in the corner by himself, smoking a cigar with that much bourbon in a cup that was this big. So
I pictured that's what he has for breakfast.
Yeah, it was just what you were expecting him to.
And then what else I love is, you've seen the videos of him where he gets to the golf course, ready for his round, does about 8 lunges, and then he's just ready to go rip it.
That's about how it starts. So not everyone can be your spirit animal, but this week Stuart Sink was a blast from the past.
Yeah, how about it,
Silverado. He hasn't won since I think 2008 or 9.
2009.
Oh.
4,074 days. In fact, little factoid, back when he won, the iPhone 3 was what was out.
Jeez.
We've moved on.
Hey, busy day with the franchisees today, huh? Gotcha.
I got all kinds of stats.
I can see that. Can't wait for our new segment that will never be repeated. So I'm on the PGAtour.com website again. It is the best professional sports website. It really is, if you're a nerd about the stats. So we can take a look at how Stuart did this week. Off the tee, 18th. Approach to green 8th, around the green 23rd, strokes gained putting 13th. Now this is where that starts to get interesting. If you look at that, strokes gained putting, he was 13th, but putts per green 52nd. You can start to see how the old antiquated days of worrying about putts per green really don't exist when you're hitting the ball as well as he did, because he was #1 in greens in regulation, 2nd in scrambling as well. So he just crushed it. And I think the most interesting of all of his performances was the strokes gained off the tee. So to basically gain 2 shots off the field there, 5 shots off the approach shots. I mean, he's almost putting himself 8 shots ahead of the average player on the tour. So it was awesome to see. He had his son caddying for him, and it looked like it was just the post-round interview I did watch. It was like 7 or 8 minutes long. You can find that on PGAtour.com too. Was awesome. You could see this dude is so grateful, so happy that he played well, and that he's just a good guy for sure.
And one more piece of trivia.
Can't wait.
What was his last win 4,074 days ago?
That was the Open Championship.
It was a major,
Yes.
It was the 09 Open.
He beat Tom
the
Watson.
Open Championship.
Now, I will say that my new favorite player, and he's going to slowly rise in the hearts of other people, Harry Higgs. Do you know Harry?
I saw his name because he came in just behind Mr. Sink this weekend.
Well, let's look at a couple of shots
Harry
he did
prior.
So he's had a nice career on the web.com tour. He played a few events this year, were really solid. We'll look at a couple of holes that he played. This is the first one. It's a short par 3, and at this point in time he was 2 shots behind the lead. He probably just needed to hit a really good shot, and he hit this tiny little pull draw. Started at the flag, carried a few feet too far, which is due to the lack of spin loft that he had from having the face slightly close to the path more than what he was expecting. So if you've heard us talk about spin loft, this is the result, and why a lot of people who hit pull shots with their irons hit them a little further than what they're expecting. That's the point of how spin loft works. So he hits that a touch over the green. It's a pretty good shot. His second shot is just nothing but trouble trying to hit a nice, delicate little pitch, and you can see how that ends up in the middle of the green. Harry is maybe not the vision of fitness on the PGA Tour, but I love his attitude. He talks about it in interviews. You can see him tossing a club here, not in any sort of violent way, just frustration. He is out there to beat people up, and that's a lot of fun to see. He 2-putts from there, and then we go on. Now the 16th hole, par 5, right after that, wasn't playing very difficult, but Harry did something a little bit amazing there too. 571. Hits his driver. The image here doesn't quite do the shot justice of how far this thing went. That went 335, bouncing through some trees. Check out the swing on the right. Very nice swing. But man, if he showed up on the first tee at a public golf course with the sunglasses that he's got on, his shirt unbuttoned here, and with that physique, you would not be surprised or think that the guy's going to break 80. Roll this one down the cart path a little bit.
I'm going to research him just based on the way you're describing
him. You're going to love
my
this
new
guy.
Spirit animal. We'll see. Let's see if he replaces
Miguel can't play forever. Second shot from where he just missed the penalty area, bounces down the cart path. It looks pretty straight on the ball tracker, but check out this shot. This is at least a 50-yard push and draw. Look at Harry. He's excited, throwing his shoulder up a little bit, and he rolls this one up to like 6 feet. Taps that in for eagle and gets going. He's 1 shot back, and it just the determination there is good. But his game and his swing are really nice. Not what I was expecting. So I'm looking forward to seeing Harry play some good golf here in the future. U.S. Open's next week, though. This is
let's talk about the Open.
Yeah, you ready for the Open? This is the Open. It is this year anyway. So it's at Winged Foot.
Yes.
Yes. Winged Foot is incredibly hard on a normal day. Then you put it in the U.S. Open conditions, and you've got something tough. So the last time it was there was 2006. That's when Phil famously had his little struggles. The winner in the event last time had less than 60% of the greens in reg. And then there were 3 players who tied for second. They all hit about in the mid-50s. So if the USGA determines we're going to make this thing tough again, I don't think this is going to be your normal major, quite honestly. Again, because it could go one of 2 ways with the people who I think would be good. First, I'd say anyone who's high in the strokes gained category around the green probably has a little better shot than usual in a major.
Okay.
So there's that aspect, but also the guys who are very good off the tee at hitting the fairway. And while it is an extremely long golf course. Being able to play a shot off the tee that will find the fairway is going to by far trump Bryson DeChambeau trying to hit driver up there.
Which is a normal US Open. That's normally how they set it up, but definitely Winged Foot's going to set up, I think, to be a lot more difficult. In fact, Winged Foot's director of golf courses predicted the winning score to be +8 or higher.
+8 or higher? Then they must have this thing.
That was basically his goal.
Ready to go. So
basically his goal was +8 or higher for the winner.
I hadn't heard that. I'm not surprised though. Then this week what you're really looking at is I would start with the predicting of who's going to do well, and I can't predict or I'm not interested in giving gambling advice, as the PGA Tour doesn't let me do that. But I will say that who I think has a good shot in this, and the methodology I would use for trying to pick a winner would be someone who's really high on the strokes gained list and who is a decent hitter. Not great, just decent. So I've got the strokes gained around the tee, around the green up here, and it takes players like Jason Day, who was #1 last year.
He's 33 to 1.
Okay. Adam Scott.
Also 33 to 1.
A dark horse who I like but won't be my pick right now, not for any reason other than I want to go further out than this, is Charles Howell.
He's pretty far down the list here. It might take me a bit to
his
find
strokes
it.
gained around the green is really good too. Looking at some other ones, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, who that will never be my pick. Patrick Reed would be a sneaky one, as he's a good hitter. Plus, his strokes gained around the green is really solid. The one I'm liking the most, I think, right now is probably this one. Daniel Berger would be one of my long shots, and then Xander Schauffele is probably a little bit higher in the world rankings than he is, but not by a whole lot. Daniel's played pretty good, so both of those would be some sneaky picks. Be interested in that one.
Yep. Well, almost everybody that you mentioned there was at 33 to 1. Patrick Reed is. Tiger's at 33 to 1. Dustin Johnson's the favorite at 8 to 1.
Yeah.
So
don't know about that one. This wouldn't be the week I'd pick him, but he's playing so well, driving the ball so good that maybe. But I don't think this is going to be longest, straightest off the tee being the winner. It's just going to be straightest, and then who can get up and down from some strange spots.
Yeah.
I would pick Tiger, quite honestly, to finish really high if I knew he'd stand up on the tee with his 3-wood and hit some tiny little push draws that don't fly very high. He won't do that.
He's going to either contend or miss the cut. Like it, I kind of feel like it's one of the two.
I think it's his shot selection off the tee. If he feels like he needs to hit a lot of drivers, I don't give him a lot of hope for that one. But if he can stand up there and very diligently and confidently pull the 3-wood out of his bag, not even diligently and confidently hit the shot, just pull that thing out of the bag with the intent of hitting it low and not as far as he can. I do like his shots, because there's a guy who knows how to handle some tricky shots around the green.
And there's a story today about the Open. Scotty Scheffler, who we just talked about shooting a 59 a week or two ago, had to withdraw asymptomatic COVID. Yeah, so he's out. I forget who's in, but that guy's probably not going to win.
That would bold prediction right here by Dave Balter.
I'm going out on
You
all
are
kinds
crushing
of
it today. You're crushing it today. Very impressed. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun week to watch golf with the scores being so high. The shots from around the greens are going to be so tough. It's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. You wanted to see
I got
stroke.
I got a new segment to close us out here. So the new segment for today is basically golf. So these final two stories are basically golf. So the first one is Tiger has bought into a company, owns a company now. This Pop Stroke Golf. So it looks like it's kind of like Top Golf, but instead of hitting balls, it's a championship putt course basically. Looks like they got a couple of locations open, so I thought that was kind of a cool story. Hope they bring one to Colorado. That'd be fantastic. And then the last one though that I sent you is a 530-foot hole-in-one playing Frisbee golf.
Thought this one was pretty good.
So,
let's check it out. Frisbee golf. Look at this. So first we'll outline what the shot is here. He's got to throw a Frisbee from here and not hurt himself.
Not yet. Don't get hurt playing Frisbee golf.
And look at this window. Right now. Look at this window to toss this thing through.
Tight window, and I know a lot of Frisbee golf courses, the hole is, they play dog legs and stuff, right? Yeah. So you got to try to figure out how to curve the Frisbee. Like I said, this is basically golf.
Yeah, basically. He's got the shoulder turn, hip turn closed. He's ready to throw this thing. The tilts are right to the right.
We already know the outcome, so let's see it.
All right, here goes.
Oh, and he's down.
Rule number 1, don't get hurt playing Frisbee golf.
But if you're going to get hurt, rule number 2 is you might as well make it.
Check this thing out.
Nothing but chain.
I don't know why. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Frisbee golf. That doesn't seem so hard. Look what he just did it in one try.
And it doesn't seem so hard until you go try to throw the first Frisbee and you hit a tree 6 feet in front of you at a 45-degree angle.
I don't know. As you said, this is basically golf.
Basically golf. Yeah, but nothing but chain, just like playing outdoor basketball back in the day.
That's pretty good. You gonna practice your one-handed pitches today?
I'm gonna do one-handed pitches, Frisbee
Actually,
golf.
You're not gonna do that because next up we are gonna address this complaint letter.
Oh,
and you're gonna hit a few for that one.
You've been promising this for a week
I
or
have.
two now.
Sorry, I've got to make sure I cover everything in this, but I don't think it'll be too hard, and it should be fun. And then, yeah, we got a few other things planned for the week, but this will be a fun U.S. Open week. I'm ready to talk about that next week.
U.S. Open week, letter. I've got some wood left over for my deck project. I'm going to go make me a cow trophy.
All right, let's do the letter.
All right,
See ya.
See ya.